I've looked at one of them, and to be honest, sometimes I'm not going to have all the full answers about these because I haven't had time to. And
that's the point.
Exactly. It's an on-the-fly deal.
Yeah.
But most importantly, it's about planetinfowars.com. You go there to ask me questions in the Ask Alex section. You go there to do your own journalism, to claim that I, work for blood-drinking lizards, whatever it is. You go to planetinfowars.com. There's dating, camping, fishing, whatever the case is. Sorry, Christy.
No,
we've got
fine.
Gerald Salente coming up in 15 minutes, so I better get rolling here.
All right, we'll make this fast then. All right, so this is from Steph. She says, hey, Alex, some of my trendy but well-meaning friends keep sending me links to sign online petitions from avaz.org. Some of the petitions push for the UN to create a no-fly zone over Libya and to pressure the UN to support the FSA in Syria. Azaz covers a myriad of issues and claims not to receive any funding from corporations or foundations. So, Alex, Avaz.org, which claims to have 14 million members, is it a globalist tool or just a group of misguided, well-meaning activists trying to do some good?
Let me look it up here real quick, because I've got to be honest. I don't want to sit here and talk about somebody I don't know about. See, this is the problem with a question like this, is that sometimes, like I said last time on that video, if I don't know, then you guys can bring me the info, and then I can come back in a part two.
That'd be awesome.
But what I do know is that there's lots of online petition sites where basically anybody can create a petition. WhiteHouse.gov does this, and people are saying, "Oh my gosh, the president wants to have GMO labeling." No, he doesn't. I can go to WhiteHouse.gov and create a petition, and then get people to sign it and send it to them. And they found in this whole Delphi technique, they like to make you think that you're actually interfacing with them and that they're listening to you. So it's just a tool to make it look like the White House is transparent, listening to people, when it comes to real meat and potatoes issues, totally run by the same globalist lobbyist. I don't know about this particular site. My memory is I think I've seen it before, and I think that it does have a lot of members, because I'm going from memory tentatively here, but look it up yourself, that basically anybody can go there and do a petition. So, of course, you're going to have NGOs from the UN going in to this site or other sites and creating them. But the answer is go and create your own petitions, because really, even if government ignores it to a certain extent, it's a way to get issues in front of people. In fact, I've found that we've gone out and done some comedy pieces showing so-called environmentalists wanting to ban dihydrogen monoxide. That's water. But we say, oh, dihydrogen monoxide, it's in the ground around here. It causes you to have to urinate and other issues.
All the side effects.
Would you like to ban dihydrogen monoxide? About 90+% are like, yes, ban it right now. Also, sodium chloride, and that's salt, table salt. They want to ban that. The point is, see, I said we have to hurry, but Salente's great, but he can wait a few minutes. The point is that I'm just joking. The point is that I am this is all scripted, ladies and gentlemen, right now. As you can tell, it's a teleprompter. Don't show the teleprompter over there, Aaron. Now they're going to believe it. Aaron, aim the camera over there so they can see it.
No, we have no teleprompter.
Now, Lewis who's also one of the great moderators over at planetinfowars.com. He is hiding back there. Show Lewis, the guy that secretly gives all the orders around here.
Yeah.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Orders from this guy right here.
That is the secret guy. All right, now hold on. This is out of control now.
Alex,
this is out of control. No, but I have to go back to number one question. No, we only have 2 pages here.
Yeah, no big deal.
No, actually, I think I've answered that question. The UN is very good. To finish the other point, we would go out and get them to talk to us with a petition. So people are ready to talk. It's just a great way to get people to politically talk to you. Of course, have a real petition, but it's a way to educate people. They'll stop for whatever reason if they're told it's a political or social issue thing.
Right.
Other issue is the UN does a lot of this on well-meaning topics to make their overall agenda sound good, but at the core of it, it's a very murderous authoritarian system that basically hides a neocolonialism. And so that's what the UN does. Moving right along to question number 2, Christy.
Moving right along. All right. So the Indiana state legislature recently voted to allow the people to shoot and kill any rogue cop who illegally invades your home. This is well within the Constitution and Federalist Papers and complies with the castle laws and rulings. But so far, you've been mum on the subject. This is per Helagon user. So
they are somebody who really pays attention. I've had that article 2 or 3 times in the last week since it passed in Indiana and meant to cover it. but so many days I don't get to it all. Look, I can't get to one question here. But the way I'm describing this is basically how I'm thinking about it. I have meant to cover it. It's just a big subject, and I meant to pull out some of the rulings that this person alludes to and never got around to it. So then I never covered it because I didn't want to not have the rulings, and there's literally hundreds of them. But here's the truth behind the story. The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. Texas tried to pass a law last year saying the TSA couldn't grope people at the airport because it's illegal. Well, it's already on the books as illegal. That's why a cop can't randomly stop you and stick their hand down your pants.
The CIA or the FBI.
Or the CIA or FBI or anybody. Exactly, Christy. So why do we need a law to enforce something that's already the law? And so that's true about Indiana, is that a police officer that breaks into your house as a rogue, and that happens quite often. Some of them go crazy, or they were criminals to begin with. Police officers commonly, and one of the problems is try to force women into different relations, or police tend to rob motorists. That's something that's extremely common. It's not all police, but they're, especially in some of these big cities where criminals get in, the union's criminal controlled, and you get a force of criminals. There's big problems with police beating people up, raping them, killing them, robbing them. And grand juries were so brainwashed that they didn't know about common law or rulings or existing laws. They would still convict someone who shot a police officer that broke in their house without a warrant and was beating them. And so the state legislature passed a law, which is a good law, reaffirming that. But the media spun it like people now are going to say a police officer is unlawful and shot them. Well, here's the deal. Police didn't even get set up in this country until about 150 years ago in New York City. And the big joke is that the film The Gangs of New York, Martin Scorsese, is very accurate. They were the first big, mean, vicious street gang. That's why the New York police are still so corrupt today. There are a lot of better forces around the country. You can debate whether you want a police force or not. But the issue is that the system, the nanny state, wants people totally and completely, absolutely dependent on government. So they don't want the idea of us being able to defend ourselves, much less defend ourselves against rogue police.
People with badges.
People with badges that are out of control. But the other point I was going to make, which is the key, I forgot. But here's the issue. Police were set up as part, under the state charter of the county and then the city. The city citizens organized themselves in a corporation, just like the Mayflower came over as a corporation, or Jonestown or whatever, or Jamestown. They all came over and set up a corporation. So that's where that idea comes from. So a city is a corporation under the state laws. And then we go and say, we're going to specially train people to be police officers who work for us, and here are our city laws that follow the state laws, that follow the Constitution. Right. Okay? And so all a cop...
Ideally.
Exactly. So all a cop is... Well, yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. Right. So all a cop is someone who has been duly sworn, bonded, and trained to engage in professional citizen's arrest. Just like I can go out if somebody's mugging an old lady or robbing, somebody, I can go up and physically restrain them, and if they try violence, I can kill them. That's a citizen's arrest power. If I catch somebody breaking into my garage and I pull out my .357 and I say, hands up or I'm going to kill you, that's a citizen's arrest right there. Okay? So cops only have citizen's arrest. It's now become butt backwards, ass backwards as they call it, where they're trying to say citizens can't defend ourselves and only the police can do it because the government wants a monopoly of power. So there is your part two on Indiana. I'm glad I've now had a chance to cover it. Folks can look up the rulings. He mentions one of them there, but there are literally, no doubt, thousands. I've seen hundreds because I follow this closely, that if some cop off duty or on duty goes crazy and wants to bust down your door and come into your house without a warrant, it's just like any other criminal. Right. And you have a right and a duty to defend yourself, but...
We've been taught we'll get in trouble if we try to defend ourselves, Like, somebody breaks into your home and you hurt them because they've broken into your home, they sue you. I mean,
yeah, and they've tried to have courts have bad rulings. Like England's got to the point where you go to jail if you defend yourself. It hasn't gotten like that here yet because we're pushing back.
Nice. Alex, there's this viral video. It's on YouTube, and it's actually titled "Detained for Open Carry Portland, Maine.
There is a reason to stop you.
Unless you suspect me of a crime, as Terry v. Ohio, Delaware v. Prouse requires you to have a suspicion of crime before you detain an individual. Brown v. Texas does not allow you to stop an individual and demand their ID.
So the user is trying to tell you we're awake here in Maine, so yay. And he goes, perhaps now that people are starting to come together, what direction is the freedom and truth movement going, especially with the direct hit on the Paul campaign? Or is Ron even still in the race? This is Bad Robot Army is the user.
Well, that's a long question.
Yeah. We thought Indiana was long.
I have not seen that particular video, but I've seen countless videos over the last decade where people exercise their right to open carry. There's laws against concealed carry because in ancient times, a criminal would conceal weapons, but free people would wear their swords or muskets openly.
Make it well known.
And that's why you wave at somebody. That's a sign of, hey, no weapon in my hand, I'm a friend. That's why you shake somebody's hand, because it's really an oath that you're friendly. You wouldn't shake the hand of somebody you didn't like. People are all into like being honorable up front, because no one would associate with anybody who was deceptive or a liar or disreputable. And so almost all 50 states have the common law and then laws in their state constitutions where open carry is legal. Concealed carry is illegal. That's how they trick you into getting a concealed carry. Going, oh, go get a license for a concealed carry. It creates the perception that all carrying is illegal. Plus, they have most of these dramas and cop shows set in New York where they pull you over and, oh, you got a gun, you're going to jail. One of the few cities where it's actually illegal because it's got unconstitutional garbage on the books that hasn't been overthrown. Actually, it has been overthrown, but they keep doing it. In Chicago and New York, there's actually been rulings. Supreme Court's ruled repeatedly, actually, the last few years, properly, that it's an absolute individual right. So the point is that this is one of the greatest civil rights or human rights movements out there, is that people go out and wear guns and go to rallies. We were at Bilderberg, and people had side-holstered guns, and they weren't provocateurs. And it really, sent the message across that, hey, you got guns? Hired police that are here guarding the criminal Bilderbergs, we got guns too. We're free people. We're on par with you. And by the way, it isn't just our right, it's your right too, officers. That's how you can carry a gun, because you're designated as a citizen arrest specially trained person, as we just talked about. But this is one of the biggest issues where you demonstrate a right, you exercise the right publicly, and then the illusion that guns are illegal and guns are bad dissipates that Hollywood's put out. And this is the equivalent of holy water to a vampire, or a giant crucifix right in Count Dracula's face. And so hundreds of people that I've seen on YouTube videos, I haven't seen this one, have been arrested. But in the last few years, the cops have had memos. It's been explained to them, hey, you can't do this. People have been shot in stores who were legally carrying. I've seen one of those videos. So it is dangerous, but not as dangerous as it was a few years ago. A few years ago, it didn't matter if it was Vermont or Arizona, where total gun culture, even more than Texas, they would still harass you, detain you, arrest you. But now, because of people hitting the barbed wire like that, and